Hello everyone and welcome to the West Ham Way YouTube channel. You already know who I am. Unfortunately we did lose to Liverpool, but I have invited Craig from the Anfield agenda on to discuss the game. Craig, from your perspective, how did Liverpool do?
I'll tell you what, it's a little bit of a feeling of relief, Corey, if I'm being honest with you. We spoke during the week and I knew this was going to be a difficult game. And I'm just proud of our guys for grinding it out, but I'd be a liar if I sat here and said that West Ham couldn't have gotten something from that game.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's the one thing, particularly in the West Ham fan base at the moment, that the lack of a cutting edge tonight. Personally, I thought Ale was poor. I didn't think he put himself about enough. There's always a conversation amongst West Ham fans watching this that is he getting the right service to him? Is the system working? It's a bit of both, to be fair. I don't think we worked to his strengths enough. Equally, I think he looked lazy at times. I think that Liverpool backline, like we discussed in midweek as well, there was opportunities for us to get in behind. And I think if we'd had Antonio tonight, it would have been a different ball game.
Yeah, I said to you as well during the week, I was very relieved. We actually didn't know the situation when we recorded. I think as soon as we finished, the news broke that he was going to be ruled out for at least 4 weeks with a hamstring injury, and you never wish injury upon a player. But look, we've had a whole host of injuries ourselves, and I was so surprised to see Nat Phillips get the nod at centre back today because he hasn't had a look in, to be honest with you. But he got man of the match on Sky, and I think you're right. I think they played to Nat Phillips' strengths at times today, trying to pump some balls into the box, which is where he's probably at his best with that 6'3" frame of his. He's quite a big lump of a fella as well. But it was a very, what's the phrase I'm looking for here? It was a dogged game of football, I think. I don't think either side were at their flowing brilliant best, but everybody put in a shift, and we'll get into the game in more detail. But as I said, I'm relieved to get out of this with 3 points. I mean, massive credit to West Ham for coming and putting in a very good shift. I mean, you can see that their confidence levels are up. You spoke about your squad depth, and I understand, but I thought you did get at us at times, particularly down Trent's side with Masuaku, and obviously the overlap then coming from Cresswell. I thought it was an excellent performance.
It was, and I thought defensively our shape was fantastic. And I thought, I knew it, I said to you, we're going to frustrate you, and it's going to be one of them games like, we can't create anything, we can't get in behind. When the lineups come out and Firmino started, I was like, okay, right, this is going to be difficult for Liverpool here because I thought Jota would come in, stretch our defence. And Firmino at times, particularly in the first half, was coming deeper and deeper. And I was like, right, now we're getting to it because he's trying to pick the ball up. He's trying to move West Ham out of position, but we're so well drilled. And even people that I've been critical before in Aaron Cresswell, I thought defensively today he was very good down that left-hand side. I thought he dealt well with Mohammed Salah. But it's just frustrating. It's just frustrating, particularly when we took that early goal. And Fornals pops up in that central position, puts it past Alisson. And you're thinking, oh, hang on a minute. It's like, goal up at Anfield. Can we do it? I mean, what were your thoughts at that point? Did you think, oh, here we go. This is going to be one of them West Ham performances?
A little bit. I thought what was Joe Gomez doing was my first thought. I mean, either put your foot through it or just head it out for a throw. I don't know where he was going, but it was a good finish from Fornals. But yeah, it was like Sheffield United all over again for us. Go 1-0 down after. I thought we started very brightly, actually. I thought we looked like we were at it from the first minute. But then that goal goes in and West Ham, I won't say they retreated because that would be unfair, but they certainly came a bit more compact because you knew you had something to hang on to. And we got, I don't want to say fortunate with the penalty because I'm sure we'll talk about whether you think it was or it wasn't, but we got given the penalty anyway. And Salah scored it, and from that point I always felt like we could nick the game, we could go on to win the game. And as you said, the difference probably was that we could bring Jota off the bench, and he changed that game. And Shaqiri as well, I thought, put in a great shift. But for me, surprisingly, I'm not hearing enough Liverpool fans talking about Sadio Mane today. I thought he was all over that pitch. I thought he was everywhere. I thought he was taking on players at times when he did not right to. He was always finding a yard of space, and he was sometimes drifting right across your back line to try and find a bit of space. So it was a dogged Liverpool performance. Nobody was at their brilliant best, but as I said, mate, I'm happy to just get the 3 points.
I bet, and that was the thing that kind of frightened me a little bit in those first 5 minutes. You kind of talked about it, where Trent was switching that ball quickly. And I said in the preview, if West Ham can nullify Trent, but the problem is with that, you can nullify him from getting forward, but you can't nullify that switch pass. And I was like, oh, here we go, because they're going to draw West Ham out of position. And I think we kind of acclimatised a little bit. We got comfortable. We sat a bit deeper. And Liverpool tried to play through the middle, and we've discussed this before. When you set up with, who is it? Is it Curtis Jones in midfield, wasn't it? There wasn't that edge. And I felt, as a West Ham fan watching, I felt comfortable. I just thought there's no cutting edge. You've got Hendo maybe as like a bit of an 8, Wijnaldum to try and run. I said, but West Ham will eat this up all day. And I did think for long periods of that game, I thought Rice and Souček were superb, but inevitably, it's difficult to deal with that level of pressure for the whole 90.
Yeah, it is. And as I said, to be able to bring off Jota off the bench like that, I thought he was fantastic when he came on. Well, again, the goal that was ruled out, whatever you think about it, Jota was in the right place again. And that run, the timing of the run for the winning goal, I thought it was a wonderful little ball from Shaqiri through the other defender's legs. The timing of the run was magnificent. Mane was coming back from an offside position and Jota just took it in his stride. And look, that's he actually has set a record or equaled the record today along with Luis Garcia for scoring his first 3 home games for Liverpool. So we're absolutely falling in love with Jota from our point of view. But I can understand West Ham fans feeling like that's an occasion that they could have gotten something from the game, because it was genuinely, it was a pick-em game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I just didn't feel that the Liverpool were that creative. Like, I don't think there was too many clear-cut chances from Liverpool. I think a few times, particularly in that first 10 minutes, I think Mane got in behind, but I thought Creswell dealt quite well with him as well. So I felt comfortable from that aspect. You get to the second half. Actually, hold on. Let's just talk about the penalty, because we can't move over this one. I mean, I thought it was very, very, very soft. I've got to be completely honest. When I first saw it, I thought that maybe he'd clipped him on his knee, but by the looks of it, he's kind of kicked sort of the underside of his foot and then he's gone over. I mean, I know you'll probably try and be a little bit objective about it, but what are your thoughts on it? Did you think it was a penalty, or do you think it was a bit cheap?
Hand on heart, I don't know what a penalty is anymore after some of the ones United are getting, mate. I don't even understand what they are. I mean, I actually thought we had more of a shout when Sadio Mane burst into the penalty area and somebody stepped across the front of him. I thought that was probably more of a shout. But sometimes Mohammed Salah, and you might laugh at me for saying this, he's too honest for his own good at times, and he doesn't go down. There was contact there. I mean, if you're walking down the street and somebody kicks you like that, are you going to fall down? No, you're not. Let's be honest about it. But you can call it sportsmanship. You can call it whatever you want. You gave Masuaku, I think it was, gave the referee a decision to make. And when you give the ref a decision to make, you're running that risk. I mean, I wouldn't call it a blatant penalty, but I can see why it was given. But I would say that, wouldn't I?
Yeah, listen, this is always a tough one. And I said to the boys in the stream, I said, if that was the other way around, I'd go, I think we've got away with one there. I think that was really soft, but you will take it all day. And unfortunately, I just felt like I feel we were in control, and I think that penalty kind of took it a little bit back in Liverpool's control. You come out for the second half, and again, I thought Liverpool, particularly on West Ham, didn't have a cutting edge or someone up front just to hold the ball. The pressure just accumulated. I mean, I want to know your thoughts on it. Did you feel like a winner was coming, or did you think West Ham might grind this one out and get a draw?
I didn't feel like a winner was really coming until the last 20 minutes. And then I thought we really pinned you guys back. And I thought we moved 10 yards further up the pitch. And as you said, you didn't really have an out ball. You brought Yarmolenko on and he tried to do a little bit down that right-hand side, but nowhere near effective enough. And I kept looking over going, right, when's he bringing Lanzini on? When's he bringing Lanzini on? And he didn't. And I wondered why, because he could have given you that little spark, that little moment of magic. It's always dangerous when you're pushing and pushing like we were, that you could be caught on the counter-attack. But thankfully today it worked out from our side. And I'm still intrigued by how the VAR decision came about to rule out the goal for Diogo Jota. I didn't even hear in commentary, maybe you did. Was it ruled out for a foul on the keeper, or was it ruled out for a foul on Balbuena?
I actually didn't hear it. I was just glad it wasn't a goal, to be fair. I mean, do you think that was a goal? I mean, I personally don't. If I'm honest, I think it was a foul, but let me know what you think.
I need to know who the foul was on, because if it was on the keeper, I'm saying no, because if you look at it, Sadio Mane's foot goes at the ground and it goes in between the keeper's armpit, and they're both going for the ball, so they're both heading in one direction and they collide. Now, after what I've seen with Pickford and Van Dijk, you can understand why challenges on goalkeepers are making me a little bit tetchy at the minute, but again, it's one of those. I'll tell you what I am happy about, Corey, and where I have no argument, is that the referee went over to the monitor and he made the decision. Yeah. That at least gives me some sense of common sense prevailing, because that's what you want. The referee made the decision. I can live with it because it wasn't made by someone in Stockley Park. So that part of it made me it made it a bit more palatable to take, and I felt like we wouldn't let that fester. I thought that would drive us on to get the winner. And look, whatever you think, whoever you support, you have to say that for a winning goal in the game, that was a fantastic piece of work.
It was. I mean, when I was just going back to that Jota disallowed goal, I mean, when you see it from behind, you can see that I think it's Mane just gets his foot against Ogbonna, and I would have said that Ogbonna may have got his foot to it and cleared it, hence why I think it was a foul.
If it was on Ogbonna, I could understand it a lot more than if it was on the goalkeeper, to be honest.
Yeah, no, definitely. Look, if I'm looking at it from a neutral perspective, I'm saying, I don't know, would that be a foul on Fabianski? I'm not sure. It may be a bit of a coming together, but just the way that Mane kind of come across Ogbonna, then gone into Fabianski, I was like, there's no way. And when I saw it from the different angles behind and obviously to the side, I just thought he can't give that. And I was glad temporarily.
I thought at first they were looking to see who it came off to see if Jota was offside. I thought they were looking to see if it came off Mane or if it came off Ogbonna, and I was thinking, well, it looks to me like it might have come off Ogbonna. We might get away with this, but as you said, I'm just happy if the ref makes the decisions. That's something I've been asking for a long time because he's the man that's in the middle, knows the flow of the game, and I want that person to make the decision. So look, it's hard to take, but thankfully for us, it didn't affect the final result.
But it's interesting, isn't it? We're talking about Jota in that sort of line of play, him being that sort of forward man and getting him beyond. He did it constantly when he came on, and this is something that I was worried about. I knew when you brought him on, you were going to start stretching the play, and it's hard for West Ham to defend like that for 90 minutes. It's inevitable that something will happen, and against Manchester City, I think Sterling got in behind a few times down that side. Luckily, Fabianski saved it. I have to credit Shaqiri in terms of the quality of the final pass. It was superb. I think it just gets a bit tentative at that stage with West Ham where you don't want to concede. So almost Balbuena was a little bit too aggressive in trying to win that ball. But nothing away from the finish in terms of that goal. I'd rather it was, if it was going to be one, it was one on that and not on the initial Jota goal.
Yeah, I can understand. I would be extremely, I suppose, salty is the phrase. If it had have been the other way around and we lost the goal like that shot a goal, the one that was disallowed, yeah, I could understand that completely. I mean, during the game, I'm as biased as you can get. I'm obviously very pro-Liverpool, but hand on heart, I try to give an honest assessment when I do the post-match things because it's over at there's no need to be biased anymore. You can be your honest self. And I was very, I won't say happy for West Ham today because, I'm never happy for opposition, but I was impressed. And if that's a West Ham side missing players or a West Ham side that isn't a finished article, I've got to say, I think Moyes has galvanised that group anyway.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm still salty about the Salah penalty, but in context, we've gone to Anfield, we've put a really good performance in defensively, which I had no doubt that we could produce. It was always just with that cutting edge, and I guess in the grand scheme of things, West Ham have picked up a lot of points that I never thought we'd pick up in this run of fixtures, and a loss against Liverpool, not getting battered by City or Liverpool in those games, is a positive in a way, particularly where we were last season. There are just things with Moyes. You are right, he has galvanised the side to an extent, particularly with Antonio in the transition from defence to attack, which you saw today at times when the wing-backs push on. It's fantastic to watch. But yeah, the Yarmolenko sub when he came on, I thought he did very little. He's not a natural front man. He didn't really hold the ball up, and it's not his job to do so, in fairness. It's not his natural role. I thought the substitutions for Benrahma and Lanzini were so late, were really late. And even when Benrahma came on, he brought him straight on for Masuaku at left wing back, which it baffles me. And that's the only criticism that I have of Moyes sometimes is those substitutions where, yes, all right, okay, you were on top of us, but there were opportunities to get forward and counter you. He doesn't bring on the right players at the right time. And it's unfortunate in the grand scheme. I think we'll bounce back against Fulham. We've got Aston Villa and Sheffield United again after that. So it's not, a sort of doomsday, result, but it's a little bit what if for me.
Yeah, I can understand that. Absolutely. We got away with one today. We got lucky to get the win. I'm not going to say anything different. It could have gone either way. Fornals would have taken one of his chances in the second half. There was a shot that was blocked, and then there was another one I think that he didn't really catch properly, which was, I think, came from a fantastic pullback from Ogbonna, if my memory serves me correct, right onto the penalty spot. And I'm thinking that net's going to bulge now. We're going to be 2-1 behind. So you created the opportunity. I don't think we even worked Fabianski in the first half other than the penalty, which is very disappointing at home for us.
No, I'm still thinking. I just remembered now about when I think Fornals was in on goal and he had Bowen to his left, and if he played him in, I would have been certain that would have been a goal. So there are little things that I just come on, West Ham. Those are the types of things we need to improve on. The little things, and I'm looking in January now, thinking we need another backup striker if it's not going to work with Allaire. We need to bring someone in that can change games, and That's the only disappointment I've got. But there's no doubt if Antonio was playing today, I think he would have got a goal.
He scares the shit out of me. I won't lie. He's a very... I'll be honest, he's a very physical, demanding, high work rate, never gives up. There's a lot to admire about Miguel Antonio, to be fair. There really is. And I've seen an interview with him as well during the week speaking about his progression through from the youth system, and I had nothing but admiration for the guy. I never wish injury on a player, but you do get these occasions in the season where things fall in your favour, and him not being around today certainly benefited us.
It was definitely like that for both of us, I feel. Like, definitely with the Van Dijk thing and maybe, and the Antonio thing, it's kind of like, oh, what's going to happen in this game? But not too downhearted, decent performance. I believe you've got a big game next weekend. Is it against Man City?
Yeah, we're away at the Etihad against City. There's talk that John Matip could be back for that game. We're obviously hoping, and I think he will be, that Thiago's going to be available for it, because I'm really excited to see what this guy does in our midfield, because at times we struggle. You said today we struggle for cutting edge. We struggle for that killer pass. That's what we're going to get from Thiago. If we come out of there with a point, I mean, I'm happy, because we've started the season with difficult games. We've played Chelsea, we've played Arsenal, we've played you guys, we've played Sheffield United, which shouldn't have been as hard a game as it was. We've gone to Manchester City. We've played Everton in the derby away. We've had a lot of difficult games and a lot of injuries. Not that I'm making excuses, because everybody has to play 38 games. But to me, if we can get to Christmas time and be a point or two ahead or a point or two behind, I think we're right in the title race for when we get players back from injury. And we don't know. The operation with Van Dijk went well. We don't know exactly what his rehabilitation is going to be like. Figures of 6 months are being thrown around, which I would take right now if you offered it to me. To get him back in 6 months would be great.
Honestly, this title race is going to be so interesting this season as well. Even with West Ham, like some of the performances, you kind of think maybe it is open for West Ham to finish top 10. But I will let you go, Craig. Unfortunately, it wasn't the result for West Ham. But as always, it is a pleasure speaking to you. And listen, best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much, Corey, and same to you and to your viewers. I wish you all the best for the rest of the season.